So one of the things that makes these wildfires extremely dangerous are the falling embers. The wind conditions very likely blew in some hot embers from the other side of the mountain, and that's what did in this shed right here. Yes, good evening, Micah and Cher. The information we need to know right now: 4 people taken to the hospital, 1 person killed, 1 deputy has been stabbed and is now recovering in that hospital. Some of these neighbors were saying they were hearing screams, bloody screams coming out of here.
A man wielding a sawed-off shotgun exchanges fire with police near a Tustin compound that houses several different schools. And that suspect then ran into an apartment complex, and that's where police now are concentrating their search.
Yeah, for the latest, we go to KTLA's Steve Kuzj, who's at the scene there in Tustin with more for us. Hi, Steve.
Jessica and Rick, this is still a very active search for a very dangerous man. A number of agencies have all teamed up here, and like we mentioned, schools are on lockdown for the children's safety. Police are advising people to stay indoors, lock their windows, and not go out. Try to avoid this area if at all possible. This is a massive police force of dozens of heavily armed officers, and everyone here is very nervous. Officers with assault rifles are even searching in the air, hanging off the sides of sheriff's departments' helicopters. From the moment he was attacked, officers say this 24-year-old student began bleeding. As he stumbled home, he left a trail of blood behind him. As he made his way, you can see he was badly injured, stopping to rest at several places. Places like this spot right here, where mixed with his own blood, you can see where he left his handprint. This is a very fluid situation, and details are still coming in, but here's what we know right now. At approximately 7 o'clock tonight, our time, when it was 6:30 in the morning in Afghanistan, a group of men opened fire with fully automatic assault rifles on guards at the gate of the presidential palace. That there set off a chain of attacks around the capital city of Kabul. Reports say Taliban suicide bombers exploded themselves at targets, while other terrorists attacked key buildings in the area with machine guns. When the earthquake struck, many people were simply going about their daily routines, including shopping here in this grocery store. However, when these shelves started shaking and rocking back and forth, all of that tension was captured for us to see.
I walked outside and neighbors were all outside looking at each other. Did you feel that?
Police are now on the hunt for 3 suspects. KTLA's Steve Kuzj spoke with the store owner. He joins us now live from the crime scene. Steve, what's the latest?
Hey, Frank, definitely a tough morning for the Oztech Wireless guys out here in Garden Grove. The thieves, when they hit this place, they definitely knew what they were doing. Only took them about 20 seconds to smash the glass, then use a pair of bolt cutters to literally just cut the lock right off of the steel security gate. And they make their way inside here, help themselves to whatever they wanted, around $100,000 of those new iPhone 6s and the iPads. Of course, when you rob an electronics store, it's going to have some security surveillance system set up in it, and there's lots of video. Take a look at this stuff. Officers telling us the burglary happened right around 2 this morning. Just after that, the Oztech Wireless cameras recording 3 men here, as you see, all in hooded sweatshirts, covered head to toe, covered on their faces also. They go into the store, tear it apart, grabbing every pricey gadget possible. They smash all the cases, leaving broken glass everywhere. Reportedly, these men mostly took Apple iPhone 6s and iPads.
Good evening, I'm Micah Ullman.
And I'm Cher Calvin. We begin this hour with breaking news. Dozens of protesters have been arrested as unrest continues following the Ferguson shooting decision.
Our cameras captured a violent confrontation between protesters and police. Steve Kuzj is live in downtown LA tonight. Steve.
Well, things definitely got physical this evening between LAPD officers and these protesters. We have just learned, Micah and Cher, that more than 130 people were arrested right out here only about an hour or so ago. These protesters by the hundreds came marching this way on 6th Street and were quickly surrounded by a very heavily armed contingent of LAPD SWAT officers and officers in riot gear. Things got very tense very quickly. Many of those protesters not going quietly. Here's some of what we witnessed before all those arrests took place. After miles of marching freely down the streets of downtown Los Angeles, these protesters reached a point with police where officers would not take any more.
I'm going to jail because I tried to get a cop a taser that I had, that I was giving it to him because I wanted him to have it, because I didn't want to go to jail for it.
These people are in custody right now, so you can go back.
There was pushing and shoving. Some frightened faces among the crowds of protesters, many more angry.
It has to be safe. And when they will no longer comply with our requests, when it becomes dangerous, when they start running in and out of cars, and put the public at risk, then we have to take action.
Several in the crowds of protesters told us they were trying to march on Staples Center in a Lakers basketball game that was going on. Officers diverted them until they had them cornered, in cuffs, and on buses. Their new destination, jail.
We'll take them to wherever we can put them and process them. So when you have large groups, sometimes we have to take some to our Metropolitan Detention Center downtown, some to our 77th facility or out in the valley.
Well, after all those arrests, here is what remains of the LAPD police force on 6th Street and Hope Street. Still several dozen officers here monitoring the situation. As for the protests themselves, we did not see any stores smashed, Micah and Sherry, no looting taking place. The violence was basically kept to a minimum. As for the protesters, the ones that were arrested, they've all, I'm told, been charged with unlawful assembly and failure to disperse. That comes with a $500 fine, and if they're not bailed out soon, they can look forward to spending the rest of the weekend in jail. They're definitely going to miss this Thanksgiving holiday. I'll send it back to you for now.
Steve Kuzj, thank you.